You never have to look like what you're going through. For me personally, this is very timely. So let me just paint a picture for you. A couple of nights ago, I had to take Hobby to the emergency room in the middle of the night. He started complaining that his ear was hurting, was waking up, even with Tylenol, was like waking up, screaming, crying, could not get back to sleep. The pain was so severe. And I know from experience that there's no way to cure an ear infection other than to get on an antibiotic immediately. He and I, all of us, could not wait until the morning to get him over to urgent care or the pediatrician. So off to the emergency room we went. It was also to find out if it was indeed an ear infection or if he damaged his ear, because earlier that day, I walk in the restroom and there are Q-tips all over the floor. They're everywhere. And I'm like, Javi, what is going on? There's water, there's Q-tips. He went into the restroom, saw the Q-tips, started playing with them, and he told me that he put some of them down in his ear and it hurt. So then I'm thinking he's injured himself. Long story short, it was an ear infection, got the antibiotic, got home. But by the time I got to bed, it was close to 4 o'clock in the morning. And a part of me was thinking, the hell with it all, gonna call, how do you call out when you're self-employed? But I'm like, I'm gonna just let everybody know any deliverables that I had for tomorrow, we're gonna have to push them off. I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm taking the day off. I'm gonna sleep in. I already knew he wasn't gonna go to school because he's not feeling well and he's only got a few hours of sleep. However, the morning came and I'm like, no, you have way too much to do. Get up, get dressed. Let's get this day going, because everything you put off today is going to be put on tomorrow. You put off today what's going to be put on tomorrow. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just get this done. So then the next conversation, this internal dialogue is like, well, I'm going to go to work today. I'm going to get all my deliverables done. However, I'm just going to roll out of bed, not going to take a shower, not going to put makeup on, not going to pull myself together, and I'm going to just slug on in to the office. No, I decided we're not doing that either. And it was perfect timing because my plan for the week was already to do this episode where I'm talking about the fact that you don't have to look like what you're going through. And that is a choice that we have to make. It was about, hey, you've had 4 hours of sleep, you got up, you took a shower, you did your makeup, you pulled your hair together, you got an outfit on, you put the jewelry on, you spritzed the perfume, got the lip gloss popping. It's not about trying to cover it all up and pretend like everything is fine. That is not what this is about. It's not about toxic productivity. It's not about toxic positivity. For me, and what I want to relay to you, the reason why this matters, it's about not collapsing into chaos, not allowing yourself to fall into that chaos that was already lined up for you. I can't control my kids get sick. I can't control if we have to sit in the ER for hours because they were backed up. It was wild. I have not seen the emergency room like that in a very long time. And it was a rough night. And just to add a side note to that, because this shook me to my core, and I'm going to give a trigger warning for those of you, it has to do with emergency rooms and loss. So when I got to the emergency room, parking garage, I'm sitting there in the car and I was actually activating my health savings account card that finally came in. So I'm in the car, I'm activating that before I'm getting ready to go in. And I just hear all this yelling. I hear people running. I see people running. I can hear all of this really loud, just like screaming. And at first I thought that it was like violence. I thought that someone was fighting. It sounded like it was escalating. And I'm just thinking, when is, next it's going to escalate? Am I going to hear gunshots? So where my car was parked, if I needed to get the hell out of there, I would have been trapped a little bit. So I was like, two things were happening in my mind while this is going on. I'm going to move my car. And if I see that things are looking pretty rough, I'm actually going to leave and we'll come back. Like I'll come back later. You know, we'll just double dose some Tylenol. I'll go to another hospital. I'm not going to put my kid in jeopardy, in harm's way. So I'm moving the car, and as I'm pulling out so that I can easily get out of the garage, and I find a parking spot. But as I'm doing that, I see this woman and another person. They are laid out on the floor, on the concrete, and she is wailing, she is screaming. And immediately when I heard, because now I can kind of hear better, when I heard the type of scream, I said, there's no other noise in the world that can be. That woman just lost her child. And she's screaming, my baby, my baby, my baby, my baby just passed. My baby just passed away. And I thought, it was such a visceral reaction for me, hearing someone going through that. Fortunately, I've never witnessed that before in my life. And it was terrifying. It was a garage, so it was echoing. And so that like shook me to my core, on top of worrying about Javi. And then Javi, you know, I'm trying to pretend like everything is, he's like, what was all that noise? I'm like, oh, I think somebody's just playing. I'm not really sure. By the time I got him out of the car, I waited for all that to like, the noise to like lower, and the noise went away. And I'm like, all right, now I feel safe, like getting out of the car. And his entire body was shaking from head to toe, because he was terrified of the sound. If you've ever had to witness, or you've ever unfortunately been through that, the noise that comes out of a mother when they lose their child, I had always heard this. I will never get that sound out of my head. There's no other sound like that. It's terrifying, and it's heartbreaking, and it's gut-wrenching, and it terrified him. Like, he was physically shaking, and he said he was cold, but I mean, my car was nice and toasty. Got out of the car, he's all bundled up, and it just scared him to death. And later on, love the innocence, right, of kids and how naive they are. He said, I just thought it was someone who was really scared of getting a shot. So that scared him, because he was already nervous to come. But I share that with you to say, you know, that shook me. It made me just want to close the laptop till next week, not do anything, not come to work, just spend time with the family, realizing that all that really matters is family, and the important things in life, our pets, our family, our connections. And I decided, no, we're getting up anyway. We're not going to collapse into the chaos. We're not going to spiral. We're not going to cave into that. And one thing I want to share with you, when you make that choice to get ready every day and to pull yourself together, even if you're just going to the grocery store, even if you're just running some errands, running around town, right? I don't get ready for you. I don't get ready for Frank. I don't get ready for the world. I get ready for myself. And I am someone who has said that since like high school time, where people would say, oh, you're so dressed up. Oh, you did your makeup for this? Like, you're wearing makeup to the beach? Yeah, bitch, I'm wearing makeup to the beach. Like, what's the problem? And those people who like clutch their pearls, like, oh, why are you dressed up? Why are you wearing that? Who are you trying to impress? Me. 100,000%. I am trying to impress me. Not you, not your mom, not your friends, not your husband, not the world. I'm trying to impress me. One thing about pulling yourself together and getting your glam on and looking the way you want to look every day, it sets off a chain reaction. Because here's what I know. For someone that has been working from home for the past 16 years, there is very much, it is very easy, it is very simple, it is very easy to let your ass roll out of bed, throw on, not even throw anything on, just roll out of bed in your nasty pajamas, your nasty, messed up, scruffy hair, come into the office, sit down and get to work. And when you do that, I don't have to say, I don't ever just roll out of bed and come in here. That is not something I can do. I at least have to like get up, brush my teeth, wash my face, put on some house clothes, and then maybe roll on in here. But you get my gist. When I do that, the days that I have just kind of rolled out, fumbled on in here, it affects everything. It affects my productivity. It affects my communication. It affects my ambition. It affects everything. Because when you don't look good, you don't do good. Because when you look good, you feel good, then you do good. It creates this chain reaction, right? It's like my kids ask me, why do I have to make the bed? The reason you have to make the bed is not so that your room can look better. Sure, that's the bonus. That's the bonus of making your bed every day. However, the reason you make your bed every morning is to set off a chain reaction in your brain. When you make the bed, you are telling yourself, I got the first task done for the day. I'm feeling good. I feel confident. I got it done. What's the next one? The next one is I get in the restroom. I take a shower. Boom. I take a shower. I brush my teeth, whatever order you do that in. I always do. I cannot do, you guys, I cannot do anything, not even take a shower until I brush my teeth. That is like number one. Get in there, brush your teeth, wash your face, take a shower, boom, boom, boom. You're setting off this chain reaction that's telling yourself, all right, like you're building momentum for the day and you're building habits, right? I literally cannot walk out of my room in the morning without my bed being made. Is it perfect? No. Is it a mess and everything all over the place? Also no, because it's pulled together and we're out the door. So when you look good, you feel good, you do good, you're gonna reach it. Like, you know, imagine if you just roll out of bed and you work from home and somebody's like, hey, can you jump on a quick Teams call? Oh, shit. Like, right? Like, you want to be looking the way you want to look. And, you know, the deeper lesson here, right? Let's go back to the core of this episode. And that is never look like what you're going through. Never look like what you're going through. And the past couple months this year have been challenging. They've been very full. They've been very busy with a lot of things that I didn't necessarily want to be doing. And we don't have to look like a hot mess because our life is a hot mess. We don't have to look like we're falling apart because we are falling apart. Now, the deeper lesson here is that what this doesn't mean, I don't want it to get misconstrued. This does not mean suppressing your feelings. This does not mean fake toxic positivity. This does not mean faking happiness. This does not mean performative strength. Okay? What it does mean is that you don't let hard seasons strip you of your standards. You don't let hard seasons strip you of your standards. Standards for me, nails gotta be done. And I have to get a fill. My grow out is ridiculous right now. But standards for me are nails are always gonna be done. Rings, jewelry, big hoop, diamond earring, always gonna be done. Makeup, gonna be done. I have certain standards. Perfume, gonna be perfuming, right? Do not let hard seasons strip you of your standards. And this can go beyond just the physical packaging up of our body, right? It's also going for your walk every day, getting your workouts in. Don't abandon your routines. If your routine is to get up every morning and meditate and go for a walk, don't let a hard season, because here's what's going to happen. If you're in a hard season, getting rid of those things that are feeding your soul are going to make the season even harder. They're going to make things even harder. And don't let pain dictate your identity, right? Like reminding yourself that this too shall pass. This is only temporary. This is only like a stop on my journey of life, right? And just small acts, washing your face, having a skincare routine, making the bed, going on a walk, swiping on the lip gloss. These aren't just self-care things. These aren't just things to make us look good and feel good. They are grounding rituals. And they do, like I had said earlier about making the bed, right? It is communicating to your nervous system. Not just the momentum building with the bed stuff, but it's communicating to your nervous system. I'm still here. I'm in control of something. I may not be in control of my child getting sick. I may not be in control of them having to take off of school for a couple days and be home with me. But I'm still in control of something. I can control the bed making. I can control getting ready, going on a walk. Like, think about it in that way. These are grounding rituals. And we have to change our mindset to think about self-care as stability and not vanity. Self-care as stability and not vanity. When life feels chaotic and it feels like, you know, and it is out of control and all these things are popping, all the pop-up events that we talk about, having structure saves you. When emotions are high, routine will steady you. It's like an anchor. Having a routine, having a structure is like having an anchor in your life when the waves around you are just all over the place. And when fear creeps in, taking care of yourself, having those routines, it will anchor you back to reality. Make it practical. Lower your expectations even. You know, did I get dressed to the nines, you know, the day after the ER? No. Was I full glam makeup? No. Did I have some makeup? Yes. Yes. So lower your expectations, but have your non-negotiables. What are your non-negotiables? What do they look like? Figure out what those are and protect them. Protect them at all costs. Even if the world is falling apart, I'm still going to have my nails done. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on. How many times, for those of you that have been riding with this podcast and even the blog back in the day, have you seen me not have nails? Never. Never. It's a non-negotiable. I told myself at 15 years old, I started babysitting. It was my first job. And little Amy at 15 years old was using her babysitting money to go to the nail salon. Okay? One thing about me, I'm always going to go to the nail shop. Here's what we need to talk about too, because I don't want anyone to misunderstand what I'm saying. There's nuance, right? Everything has nuance. Nothing is black and white. If you're exhausted and you're beyond capacity exhausted, you have to rest. You have to pull back. You have to pare down things in your life, right? What I'm not saying is to push through something when you're at capacity, right? If you're sick, take the day off, rest. If your body is screaming at you to stop, then you stop. We talked about this recently in one of the episodes. It might even be the last or the one before it, where we talked about your check engine light is on for a reason. You need to tend to it, okay? It's not about ignoring your limits. It's about choosing your own dignity over difficulty. There's nuance here, and I want you to remember that. So if you're going through something hard, if no one else knows it, if no one else sees it, if you feel like you're unraveling, you don't need to broadcast that out to the world. You don't have to tell anyone about that. But you also don't have to let it consume you. We're gonna have hard seasons. We're gonna have hard times. That is a given, right? There's no getting around that, but it doesn't have to define you. So keep all this in mind. We don't have to look like what we're going through. What are your non-negotiables? What does that look like for you? And just start taking better care of yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this episode up. If you love the podcast, I would be so grateful if you could leave a rating and review over on your podcast player of choice. If you are watching the podcast over on YouTube, say hello down in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode. Make sure you also subscribe on your app. I know there's some people that are listening to the podcast and they're not subscribed, so make sure you go ahead and do that. I will catch you on social media. I am at Irresistible Icing on both TikTok and Instagram. Have an amazing week. I will catch you in the next episode. Until then, stay irresistible. Bye, guys.